Good morning, students. I hope you don't have any problem in chapter 1. Now, in chapter 2, we will get ideas about the cell. Cell is the unit of living organisms as matter, form, or atoms or molecules. In the same way, all living organisms are made up of cell. Cell is defined as the functional and structural unit. We have to understand what is the meaning of structural unit and the functional unit. In the living organism's body, all the body parts, all the organs, or the structure of their body is formed by the arrangement of cells. Cells are arranged in definite pattern and give the shape and the size of the particular part of the living organism. So it is considered as a structural unit. In the same way, if our body is working, that means our organ or organ system is working, and organ system are made up of the unit, that is cell. So cell is considered as a functional unit. If example we will take our blood is working. So blood is formed of different types of blood cells. The blood's work means the functioning of those cells. That means cells are doing the work. That is the function of RBC, function of WBC. What is the function of platelets? That is only the function of the blood. So a particular part of our body is working with the cells present in those parts are working. So cells are considered as the functional unit. Most of the cells are microscopic, except a few, that is the eggs of birds. These are the large cell, so we can see without the help of microscope. But when we study cell, we have to use the microscope. So we have to start from that history of invention of microscope. First of all, Leeuwenhoek, Antony van Leeuwenhoek invented a simple microscope by using a single lens. And on the efficiency of the lens, maximum magnification of the sample may be 200 times. Afterwards, Robert Hooke invented compound microscope by using two working lenses. And as two working lenses are used, so magnification we get from compound microscope is more than the simple microscope. So under the compound microscope invented by Robert Hooke, he observed dead cells first. Dead cells of cork, slice of cork observed under the compound microscope, and like the chambers, the different cells observed by him, and the name cell coined from that observation. Afterwards, modification done in that compound microscope. Obviously, those microscope we are using nowadays in the laboratory are the compound microscope or light microscope, and the two working lenses are there, but some moderation made afterwards to make it more efficient. Then electronic microscope came. After the invention of electronic microscope, the things become easier, more and more easier. That is, the different parts of the cells can be understood clearly when we observe through the electronic microscope. And the ideas that we are usually getting from our book, these are the studies of different scientists. By using all those microscopes, they given us different ideas. So different ideas when we are discussing, one of the most important topic of this chapter is the cell theory. So cell theory, what is it? States that the cell is the functional unit of life. Cell is the structural unit of living organisms, and all the new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. These are the statement of cell theory. And cell theory proposed by whom? Many scientists work, especially three scientists named is there. They contribute giving us the ideas of cell theory. They are the scientists, that is German botanist Matthew Slade, German zoologist Theodor Schwann, and afterwards German zoologist Rudolf Virchow. All of these three scientists worked hard and gave us the ideas about the cell, and those ideas togetherly called as the cell theory. Now, the statements we get from the cell theory, the three main, except those three, many are there, but the three we should know. These are the main points. Okay. Now, some of the organisms are unicellular, some of the organisms are multicellular. So, unicellular means formed of single cell, multicellular many cells. So, those organisms having one cell, that one cell is responsible for all the body functions. Whereas multicellular organisms, what actually happen, a few cells make a group, and that particular group is doing a particular job for the body. In that way, division of work seen in multicellular organisms. Obviously, the multicellular organisms may have different sized and shaped cells. So size, these are very small, cells are very small, microscopic, already I told. But some of the cells, they are maybe a little bit larger, and the largest cell is the ostrich shell, and easily can be seen without help of microscope. Smallest cell considered the bacteria cell, Pleuropneumonia type bacteria. Pleuropneumonia is a disease, that type of bacteria are considered as the smallest cell. Longest cell in our body is the nerve cells. The size of the cell doesn't cause the size of the organisms. Then what is the reason having different size? Elephant is very large, largest land animal. We are also large. Ant is very small. So the small or large size actually depending on the number of cells they possess. Okay, not on the size of the cell. Now the shape. Different shaped cells are there. Some of them are star shaped, circular, biconcave, oval shaped. Okay. In your book you will get the diagram of the different shaped cells, branched cells, spindle shaped, and the cuboidal, columnar. So different types of cells are there. The shape actually helping in doing their work. The red blood cells, these are biconcave, circular, that can easily flow through the narrow passage of the blood vessels from one place of our body to other place. In the same way, nerve impulse will be conducted from one part of our body to the other part. Long distance always traveled by the nerve impulse. To travel long distance, if the path is consists of many cells, it will be troublesome. So the cells of nerve are very long. That is, the long cell will help in conducting the nerve impulse easily to the distant place also. So different shaped cells are formed. Now the structure of cell. This is the main part of the chapter. Structure. That is the typical cell, a plant cell and an animal cell. What are the different components present within the cell? We from early junior class we are getting the ideas about the cell. Whenever we are drawing, we are making an outline, and then within which we are drawing one dense part. This is the nucleus, and the outer part of this dense nucleus, this is we are shading usually. This is a viscid liquid part, that is called cytoplasm. And outer covering that we usually draw, this is called the cell membrane, okay, or plasma membrane. The cell membrane or the plasma membrane is a common boundary for both the plant and animal cell, whereas the plant cell possesses one more coating. This is the outer cell wall and inner cell membrane or plasma membrane. So, two lining are there. One outer is called the cell wall and inner is called the cell membrane. You can see the diagram in your book of the plant cell and the animal cell. In animal cell or the plant cells, always we will get the three distinct regions. What are those three? Outer fencing, inner cytoplasmic area, and one dense part of the cell, it is named as the nucleus. So nucleus, cytoplasmic area, and outer boundary form of cell membrane, and in case of plant cell, both cell membrane and cell wall. So we will start from outer boundary today. Okay. In animal cell, the outer boundary is formed of cell membrane or plasma membrane. It is a living part. Okay. So the living part of the cell is also called plasma. So the membrane is named as plasma membrane. And outer boundary, that is cell wall in plant cells, this is non-living structure. Okay, so outer boundary cell wall in plant cell is formed of cellulose. It is the non-living part of the cell. Then why it is remain attached with the living cell? It gives rigidity, toughness to the plant cell, because plant bear more force than us. So their cells are also rigid and tough due to having the cellulose made cell wall. And cell membrane is also present. Cell membrane is formed of proteins and lipid. It is called lipoprotein. Lipoprotein. It is the living part, already I told. Cell membrane is semi-permeable. That means it allows some of the substances, particles to pass through it selectively. Whereas the cell wall is freely permeable. Cell wall is freely permeable, but cell membrane is semi-permeable. So the differences we are getting, cell wall and cell membrane both giving the protection to the inner part of the cell, although as the cell wall is more tough, cell membrane is delicate. Cell wall is tough. So it obviously more protection given by the tough kind. Cell wall is freely permeable, cell membrane is partially permeable or semi-permeable. Cell membrane is formed of lipoproteins, cell wall is made up of cellulose. This much differences, these points you must learn. Okay, what is the difference between the cell wall and cell membrane? This is a very common question. So you must know these points to answer the question. Okay. So next day we will continue with the different cell organelles, cellular structures. such as that is the we have to talk about the nucleus. We have to explain the structure and the function of the nucleus, as well as the chloroplast and that is mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes. These are the different cell organized cell structures present within the cell, membranous covered structure. We have to discuss them in detail, their structure and the function. Okay, then that's all for this class. Bye bye.